Hello, everyone. Patriot 5 here. We're live here on Friday afternoon. We're doing an early session because I have to watch my grandkids tonight, and I don't know how the youngest one would react to me doing a show. So we're here. Hey, Linda, good to see you. I'm going to stand up and say the pledge, play the music, and I'll be right back. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
If tomorrow all the things were gone, I'd work for all my life, and I had to start again with just my children and my wife. I thank my lucky stars to be living here today, where the flag still stands for freedom, and they can't take that away. And I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me. And I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA. God bless the USA. From the lakes of Minnesota to the hills of Tennessee, across the plains of Texas, oh, from sea to shining sea, from Detroit down to Houston, New York to LA, where there's pride in every American heart, and it's time we stand and say,
Here goes this next school week.
oh, and I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me. And I'm gonna stand up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt of this. God bless the USA. Next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land.
How about that? Yes, God bless the USA. You gotta love the USA, especially the time where we're at.
Give me 32 seconds and I'll show you how to become
I'm really surprised. Posting it as late as I did, I see Rick and Janet, Ian. It's Ella, y'all. Why is Ella not in school? Is this my granddaughter, Ella? And then we have Cindy, Lisa, Mac. I'm trying to get everybody. She's got to go, so I'm assuming I have no idea why she was on. But anyway, playing that music, it reminds me of just music, and it's such a big part of my life, everyone. When I write Julia, like last night, when I wrote her for the last time this week, because we don't write on Saturday and Sunday, but when I wrote her, The picture that she had sent me the day before was a pretty sweet little picture. If I can pull it up real quick, I will. I don't want to slow everything down, but I was hoping to be able to find it real quick. So give me a second here. I almost got it. I'll share the picture with you and you'll understand. This is the picture she sent me 2 days ago. Now, if you take a close look, if you could look, you'll see she has flowers in her hair. You'll see she's standing in flowers, and her dress is the exact same type of flower that she's standing in there. Well, if you go back, Linda, you're going to remember this.
Cindy said he's got a nice outfit.
Pardon me?
Cindy said he's got a nice
Thank you,
outfit.
Cindy. But if you go back, Cindy, and all of us that are a little older to the 60s, there was a group called the Cowsills that made a song, I Love My Flower Girl. So last night
Don't go get going with that.
I'm going to sing a little bit about it.
Oh,
I saw you standing in the rain. I'm just doing that, guys, because Flower Girl, I'm putting this song in Ron's head because he's going to think of that song all night, because I woke up the other day before I looked at her letter and I had that song in my head because I've called her my Flower Girl on several occasions. And I woke up with that song. And when I look at her picture that she sends me, she's got, it was almost like we was on the same page. And I kept that song in my head all day, but I sang it to her and recorded it, sent it to her. So, I mean, I can't sing a lick, but I love music. And when a song gets in your head, you can't get it out. Victorious Moon is on. I have to ask y'all, hi, Eileen. I'm really happy that so many people showed up, guys, because this is short notice. But the reason I'm doing an afternoon show is because
we don't want to do it tonight.
I have 2 grandkids to watch tonight. One of them would be no problem. I come down to Ron's, I do the show. We put some cartoons on TV for him. He'd sit there. You wouldn't even know he was here. Or the other one, she'd sit down for about 10 minutes, and then all of a sudden, all HE double toothpicks would break loose because she's 2 years old. She'll be 3. She'll be 3 in December on the 13th. So I didn't want to take a chance. Plus, it'll give me a chance to spend more time with them. Now, if something breaks, I will come back. I wasn't going to discuss this, but I am right now, just briefly. For those who's not on Telegram, you wouldn't have seen my post. But I'm going to go in and do the kids now. I'm going to talk about the kids. I'm going to talk about a post. On our Telegram site, Super Jimmy, who we all love, we all think the world of, he changed the site name to his name, Jimmy Moran. That means an 11-year-old or 12-year-old, whichever he is now a member of our Telegram page, and that's not allowed. You're an adult to be a member there. Now, I've sent his dad a message, but his dad probably didn't see the message because it's under Jimmy's name now, and his dad probably don't go there. And I asked him, please change it back to either Renee's or your name, Jim. And I was really hoping I'd have got up this morning and had been done, but it was not. So I said, I made a post, and I'm just going to give you the short of it. I told him I'd give him the rest of the day to switch it back. I'm not taking responsibility for a 11 or 12-year-old boy to be online. I look at my sites, my Facebook, my Telegram, my TikTok. I look at that as the same way as I look at these shows. Them sites are not made for children, but they can be part of it under the discretion and okay of their parents. And that's what I'm trying to get across. And they didn't change it. So I told them I would give them till the end of the day, and they either change it back to mommy's name or daddy's name. If it's still in his name tomorrow, I'm going to block him. And that's it's got me to where I was so excited to do this show today that I don't even want to do a show because it hurts me. It hurts me that I had to do something like that, but I can't take the chance of somebody. And guys, the people who's followed me, Linda, you followed me a long time. You've went through the one lady. You've went through the other group that they did nasty things to us. But you guys don't see it, but they're still doing it to me and Ron. So, we're still getting stuff from these people. And I know it's them because, see, they're not smart enough to understand. You have an IP address. So whatever you do, that IPS address follows you all over the place. And my son is real good at checking things. And I know that this particular one and this particular other is trying to do things to me. But I don't care. Because as the song says, nothing's going to stop me now. Nothing's going to stop us now, guys. We are there. Betty Woods, good to see you. Hey, Bill, good to see you. So this was a very hard decision. And Jimmy, I don't want you to be mad at me, but just do me the favor and go put it under your mommy's name and your daddy's name and say that, have them send me well, your mommy can, I'm sorry. Have your daddy send a message and say, I'm Jim, or I think that's his name, I'm pretty sure. And I give him permission to post things here, but under his name. And please also do me a favor, don't accept friendships from anybody unless you absolutely, positively know them. There's people out there. What do you think we're doing what we're doing, trying to protect the kids? I can't protect the kids if I turn the cheek and let this happen. What's going to happen next? My grandkids. Well, I wouldn't mind being a member. Now, you just seen Ella was on for a brief moment. I have a feeling she might have a dentist appointment or something today, doctor's appointment, or mommy's taking her to it. So they probably come home to put the dogs out before they went to it. So she's not going to be on unless mommy gives her permission. Because believe me, David and Amber are very, very strict when it comes to internet. So I love you, Jimmy, but I have to do what I have to do, and I hope you understand. Now let's move on to Patriots 7, who, I hope you're still getting good weather where you can get out and ride your horse. Did you ever get to ride Grandma's new horse yet? Keep waiting for her to send me a message, but she hasn't done so. Hi, Savita. Patriot Karate Kid and Patriot Wyatt Earp. Hey, you guys get a 3-day weekend this week. So does Patriot Princess, our queen, and Patriot Hunter. You know what? If they go beep, 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 I think it's 3. Beep, beep, beep. If they do that this weekend, you might get a long vacation. Almost like better than a Christmas vacation.
Somebody said in the chat that they got she's got her grandkids today because they're off of school.
Ron was saying, someone said in the chat that you got your grandkids today. Someone does because your kids are off school. Well, a lot of schools do that. When you're going to get a Monday off, they give you a Friday off for Teachers Institute. And that way, instead of getting a 3-day weekend, you get a 4-day weekend, but you get 2 4 days. We didn't get that. I was trying to explain to my grandkids. When I was in school, we went to school. We started school on Wednesday. We went a half a day. The Wednesday before Labor Day, we went a half a day. We went Thursday and Friday. We got Saturday, Sunday, and Monday off. That was our day off. Labor Day was our day off. We went back to school. We never got another day off. There wasn't no getting off for October 11th back then. We got Thanksgiving. The Thursday and Friday off is what we got. Then we got our Christmas vacation. I think in there we had Lincoln in February. We got Lincoln's and Washington's birthday. We did not get Martin Luther King's and that, but we didn't get the days. But then we started school the Wednesday before Thanksgiving. Now they're starting school the 16th and 17th, 15th, 16th, and 17th of August.
We started school on Labor Day, the week before, the Friday before Labor Day.
The Wednesday before Labor Day is when I started.
You didn't say Labor Day. You said something else.
Well, if I said something else, I made a mistake. I do that. Hi, John. But anyway, kids, I think you're in for a big vacation here in a little bit. And then when you go back to school, you're going to have new things to learn. The real things. Like the real McCoys, you're going to get the real stuff. You know, isn't it amazing that when I went to school, I was not a good student? Now I feel I know a lot more than a lot of people. Now I'm going to have to learn all this stuff over again. I love the Civil War era, not because of the killing. I'm just totally against that, but I just love reading the stories of the battles, watching movies of the Civil War. You know, heck, who knows? Abe may still be with us. Everybody else is. Why can't he be, right? We live in a amazing world right now that's getting ready to really, really become amazing. And then we look and we have Boogs and Boogaloo, Boogaroo and Boogie. And you know, when I think of these kids and been doing these shows now, and John's been following for all these years, I just posted something on Facebook the other day about my grandkids, 3 of them. And they was all 3 or 4 years younger. And I said, where did the time go? And I'm sure if John was to send me pictures of all 4 of his grandkids together and then show me pictures of them 5 years ago when we first started to hang out, there was the amazement. The oldest one is just going to start giving John and mom and dad headaches. She's a very, very beautiful young girl. And she'll be singing that song to you soon, Grandpa. Why must I be a teenager in love? Oh, she'll cry them tears. I'm telling you, John, get another song in Ron's head over there. That is the truth. It is. It really is. Now, you know, they got Patriot Leona, who I'm telling you, you want to talk about someone shooting up the old elevator shit. Man, this little girl might keep sending me pictures and videos of hers, and she just goes crazy. I mean, she's so loving and caring. She gets her daddy to run around in a goofy pair of pajamas playing with her. They had feetsies in them. A grown man had feetsies in his pajamas. Oh, dude, I'm gonna razz you. I'm gonna tell Mike I want to meet the whole family. You're gonna say I ain't going to talk that nut. That man's a nut job, man. I ain't going to talk to him. And then little Leilon, well, Grandma has finally moved to Florida, and it's she wasn't really family. Her grandma. Her mom had a baby, which was her. And I got to know her real well when I used to go to the roller skating, because she was always skating with my cousin Jean. And I always thought they was a couple, and then she got pregnant from another guy, and I found out Jean and her don't skate together. I mean, these guys could have gotten competitions and won as a couple. They was amazing on skates. Showed me how to learn to skate frontwards, backwards, do just about anything, you know. But the dad just totally disappeared once he found out she was pregnant. So even though Jean and this lady never married, they was always together. Always. I guess he wanted his freedom and she wanted his. And you know what? They had 50 years together or more. They had probably 55 years together but they never celebrated an anniversary because legally they weren't married, but they was always together. Well, Peggy, the great grandma, died. Her daughter, Kelly, had twin girls, and one of the twin girls has given birth to little Leilon. But Kelly has now moved to Florida. You know, it's not family, but she is family. Do you understand what I'm saying? Sometimes you don't have to have the blood running through your veins to be family. So, Patriots super gymnast, well, she was on here for a few minutes here today and said hi to a few people. If you ever notice, whenever super gymnast comes on, Lady Anita, good to see you. Whenever she comes on, the one person she always has to say hi to. I'm going to see if you guys can guess who the one person she always has to say hi to. I'll give you a couple of minutes to put your answers up there. And then I'll tell you the one person she always has to say hi to.
I got it right.
Ron got it right. I don't remember insurance being out high, John, but yeah, you used to be able to buy good cars. I tell you, my dad used to get cars from Ed McBroom. Edwin McBroom, he was big into politics, but he run the Cadillac dealership, and he also had used cars. And as long as my dad would go to 5 or 6 different places on election day and vote for him, whenever my dad would walk down there from his work and say, Eddie, we need a car. And Ed would say, what's going on, Henry? So, well, we need a car. And
I got one on there for $20 for you.
He'd take him out. He said, you going to vote for me? My dad said, yeah. He said, how many times? He says, as many as they'll allow me, buddy. He said, okay, I got one out here for $50 for you. Anybody else would have cost $500-600. But for my dad, $50. Someone looked at me one day and said, you guys change cars a lot. I said, yeah, my dad gets tired of buying, and he's really good friends with a politician. And whenever we need a new car, we just go get one. And the thing of it is, $50 for the car. My dad would pay him $5 a week for 10 weeks. $5 a week. And Eddie would look at him and say, Henry, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. If you miss a payment or two, hey, I ain't worried about it. As far as I'm concerned, the car's paid for. You want to talk about crooked politicians? But I tell you, my dad was strict to the bone. And this isn't because they paid him. He was strict to the bone Republican. He told me if the Democrats ever take over, our country will go to hell in a handbasket. Think about where our country went. This is a man with a 5th year education. But anyway, going back to super gymnast, since no one wanted to guess who's the one person she always talked to, which surprised me that Janet, the winner, didn't say something. She did say yes, so maybe that was her way of saying her. Always she comes on. As a matter of fact, when I see her sometimes, and she hasn't been on the show for a while, she'll look at me and she'll say, hey, how's Janet doing? But see, you got to go back to when I made her a moderator. We used to have a lot of people on the shows when she was with me, but she had to go back to school. Back then, Janet was the only moderator that was coming on the shows. So I made Ella one, and I'm telling you, Janet, would you agree with me? Would you agree with me that hi, brother Russ, that's my brother. Victorious, you got a brother, Russ? Because I do. He celebrated his 50th wedding anniversary the other day. He was supposed to have me stand up for him as his best man, but he didn't. And I asked him why, and he said, well, the girls wanted their husbands to be the best men, you know, the son-in-laws. And he said, no, in my wedding, I only had one best man. He was with me 50 years ago, and he should be by me today. So they decided not to have anybody. But there's another thing. It is what it is. But then I got to talk about super special. Patriots 7. I want to see if I can pull something up here, guys. He's a handsome young boy. He's got a girlfriend. I've showed you her pictures several times. But he's very loved. I always tell him, who the man, who the man. This is what the cheerleaders from his football team did to their yard. They came over and with toilet paper, they wrote, "Hi, Liam." Here's one of the little girls cheerleaders doing it. So, and then here's Liam accepting everything. I knew that had happened. Anyway, I'm not going to go back there. Yesterday was David Anderson's birthday. David Anderson is a man I went to high school with. He was a year behind me. And he finally retired yesterday at 70 years old. He was going to retire on his 70th birthday, which was also his 70th birthday, which was also the anniversary of his mom and dad being married. I don't know, maybe it was a shotgun marriage. I just showed you that because it came up on my fake bike page. Anyway, so Liam is very happy. He's got tournament starting tomorrow. They play the same team that they just more or less blew away the other day, but I hope overconfidence don't take on to them because that can be the thing. Hi, Missouri girl. Hi, Russ. That can be the thing that can take you down even if you shouldn't go down. So Patriot Small Hank, I'll be watching him tonight. Patriot Little Kira, I'll be watching her tonight. And then Patriot Little Monkey, she called me the other night. And she says, "Grandpa?" I said, "What's up?" She says, "I haven't seen you." I said, "What do you mean you haven't seen me? You seen me Saturday and Sunday." She says, "I know, but I didn't see you yesterday." And I said, "No, you had school." She said, "Well, we can't do that. You're my grandpa, and I need to see you every day." And see, she's serious. She loves it when how many kids love it when they get sick so their grandpa can stay home with them and watch them? That's one of them. So that completes the kids for this show. Remember, kids, once again, this show is not made for you unless you have the permission from your parents, grandparents, or legal guardian. And also, the music we played is for entertainment purposes only. And as I said, that takes care of everything. Now, where are we? I think we're setting as best as we've ever set. And I know some of you is on here. There's 62 people on right now. Some of you are going to say, "You say that every week." And the reason I say it every week on Friday is because every week on Friday, it seems like we're inching a little closer. And remember everyone, we don't have to smash that finish line. We just have to get to it and cross it one time. Like the Little Giants. The Little Giants playing the good team on that show. The way them athletes were, without Icebox, the Little Giants were nothing. Now, the team that Liam, Patriot 7, plays on, they have a girl playing on that team too, and they've nicknamed her the Icebox, and she is just loving it. But anyway, last night was Bruce in a big call, and me and Marianne had a tremendous talk. She sends the best emojis about the Bozo the Clown, and I'm not even going to go into things, but here's what Bruce had to say. According to Carpathia, Looking for Monday. Okay, Bruce talks about peace plans with Hamas and Israel. Looking for Monday, the prisoners release. This will be significant for us because if they release the prisoners, it shows that they're not only in a peace treaty, but they're not going to be fighting. And I'm going to explain to you in just a minute or two why that is so important. No, I'm going to go into it now because see, no, I got to read one more thing here. Also, now listen, also peace with Russia and the Ukraine over the weekend. So if that happens, the wars are all over. I think that will be 9 wars that the hat has ended. To show you the love. You know, it's amazing. In his own country, everything he's doing for us. We still have these protesters and these people cutting him down, cutting him down, cutting him down. But in another country, I watched people do it on a video. I watched people in their country writing on the lawns, their grass, their driveways, whatever. I can't say the name, but it's DT, the hat, should win the Nobel Peace Prize.
They didn't do it. Somebody else got it.
Did they?
Yeah.
Ron
Ron
said he didn't get it. How in the world can someone end 8 wars and possibly a 9th one and you not get the Nobel? What person could have did more for peace in this world? And that's where everything is. It's just like the other day in pro football, and I'm not going to talk a lot about pro football because I know a lot of people don't believe in it. They don't believe it's real. And I believe there's going to be a major shakeup, but it is real. I believe there's going to be a lot of changes, but it is real.
Gambling's going to get taken away.
Huh?
Gambling on
you, as Ron said, the gambling is going to get taken away. You cannot allow people legally to gamble where referees are out there. You have what, 5, 6, 7 referees out there on the field every game. They get together with their family and they say, hey, you guys go play, our friends. You guys go place this bet and I'll make sure that something happens. And it could have never been more obvious than in the Kansas City game the other night. I think it was against the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Well, even last night they made a bad call.
And there was a touchdown. I believe it was a touchdown scored by Kansas City, but they wiped it away because of a penalty on Kansas City. You've seen the penalty as plain as you can see me sitting right here in front of you on this screen. But Mahomes comes running up to the referee in the end zone, went like this and said something, and all of a sudden the flag was picked up. The referee walks and said there was no infraction for holding. Holding? You smother bunked him. My goodness gracious. Yes. And I do believe it's rigged. And the funny part is Kansas City still lost the game. They still lost the game because Trevor Lawrence on a 4th down, he fell not once. He fell twice and was still able to get up and run into the end zone before Kansas City could tackle him. And they won the game. And I could have cared. No, I'm not going to say I could care. I'm not a Kansas City fan because their coach is a crybaby. Their tight end is the biggest crybaby in the world. But if you all know who he's with, so does that make sense? And their quarterback, who I think is a humanitarian, I believe he's on our side. But oh my goodness gracious, when he's playing and a call goes against him, you don't want to be within 10 feet of him because the water's going to be deep with tears. So I just wanted to share that story. But when I made the other statement here, look, also peace with Russia and the Ukraine over the weekend. Everything I'm reading, as I continue here in a minute, everything I'm reading, I copied and pasted and sent to Julia. And when she read that, I told her specifically to read that line, and I told her exactly where it was. I highlighted it. And I says, read that. She did. And in her letter this morning, she told me she started crying. She started crying and she couldn't stop. And she cried for about 5 minutes. And people were coming from all over because she's in a building with a bunch of computers in it. And people were coming up and asking her, are you okay? Are you okay? And she looked at the people and she says, just read this line here. And then she told the people where she got the information and what I did to help her. And she said, Ralph, everybody was around crying. The owners of the establishment come up. These are older people. These are adults crying like little babies because they can see the light at the end of the tunnel. But one of the things she discussed with me in the letter this morning that she wrote me is what you said to me, Ralph. You have a 5-year-old granddaughter, and you have a 3-year-old granddaughter, and you have an 8-year-old grandson. The kids that age in the Ukraine and Russia don't know what it's like to just be able to open the door, go outside and play, to be able to walk to school if it's close enough and feel safe. They don't know what it's like. They do know what it's like to have to go underground into a tunnel, a shelter, to make sure that they don't die. And now, if what you're saying is true, if it's true and it gives us the hope for this weekend, she said these kids are going to be able to be kids again. Could you imagine that, Victorious? John, could you imagine that with your grandkids, John? If your kids could do nothing. Now, you got to remember too, guys, in the areas that they live, a lot of them don't have in-home internet. So you can't even give them a computer or a tablet. That's why Julia has to go to this place to write me, because they're not allowing in this city of over 40,000 people, they're not allowing home internet access. Just picture yourself. Could you imagine living a life like that? Why is it so important that war ends? Because of all the wars of end, now we can go into the big N and the big G. And now if one country decides, I don't like what this country's over here doing and tries to retaliate, he's not retaliating against that one country that he don't like. He's retaliating against 208 countries because they say there will be no more wars for 1,000 years. And you might be around to see the next one. I'm going to get into the beds here in a little bit. So let me move on with Bruce. Getting the process underway is where we need to be. Timing for us to get our notifications all week. Bruce has heard over the weekend, and today he heard from the weekend through Tuesday. We have another 3-day weekend this weekend, and banks will be closed on Monday. In talking with redemption leaders, they are on call on Monday. They will only go in if called to go in on Monday. This depends on if we get the 800 numbers on Monday. If the staff are on call, they will not go in on Monday unless something changes. To me, I thought that was just repeating himself. I'm just reading what they put. As far as Tuesday, Bruce thinks it looks good for us to get notified by Tuesday, and we may start exchanges on Tuesday or Wednesday. We need redemption centers and call centers open the same days. Bruce says that in the meantime, we heard that R&R allowances, money getting back from taxes, birth and death certificates, marriage and divorce, these were traded as bonds on us, and we will be paid the money earned on those trades. Also, credit card, mortgage, car, and bank loan interest back from you for your lifetime. The R&R will be paid at the Redemption Center in our QFS accounts. However, it may be changed. They may add the tariff money and the DOG monies. We will either get a direct deposit monies for those Social Security. They said they should get it in Social Security bank account. It will not be in the QFS due to the currency exchange and redemption of ZIM in our Wells Fargo account. There is another income stream, the tariff dividends. President the Hat mentioned this in a press conference the other day, $2,000 per person aged 30 years and over, a bona fide USA citizen. What is the timing of the tariff dividends? Starting the night of October 15th, 16th, and 17th. The way I understand, and this Bruce did not say this, but I've heard the same thing from multiple sources. The 15th, the people born from the 1st to the 10th of the month will get their money put into their account or have a check sent out to their known address. The 11th through the 20th birthdays will get it the 16th, and the 17th will be the 21st through the 31st. So it is not to be this money, this $2,000 is not a one-time thing. It could be every 6 months, or what a lot of people are saying, it could be every month for a period of possibly up to 18 months. So just imagine, just imagine, and I'm going to pick on senior citizens, and I pick on you, but I'm going to give us as an example because we're going to get a raise in Social Security. But if for the next 18 months in this account, you would get $2,000 more, wouldn't that be pretty sweet?
Not have to pay for medicine.
And not have to pay for medicine. A lot of people will get money after we start our exchanges. If we get from Saturday to Tuesday, we could start exchanges on Tuesdays. Others not involved with currencies could get that $2,000 right after we start the exchanges. This way, everyone gets paid and at about the same time. Bruce says all this will happen and still expecting Social Security increases in October. Now, what I've heard about Social Security increases in October, this is what I've heard, is you've already had 2 Wednesdays, the 1st and the 8th. Then you have the 15th, the 22nd, and the 29th. So starting on the 15th, the people who were supposed to get paid on the 15th, like on the 1st, like some people do, and then me, I got paid on the 8th, we will get our raise of $5,000 is what I heard. Then the next week's, the people who get it on the next one will get theirs, but you're going to get $5,000 this month. And then next month, I heard you're going to still get what you normally get this month. But then the next month, I've heard you will get just $5,000. Myself personally, I don't think it's fair because, if someone didn't work a lot, but then again, what's fair? We all created equal. So let's just put it that way. Everybody gets $5,000 a month. I think, Janet, we could live, John, you could live a lot better getting $5,000. John, is your wife old enough to collect too? I look at married couples when I hear this and I think, wow. I got a brother, Russ, and his wife, Jan, who just celebrated 50 years. They're both still working. Russ is 78 years old, still working. Jan is 70, still or 69, still working. Maybe they could actually retire. Bruce does like the Doge and the R&R combined. All of this will be paid because of your Social Security number. For those who are exchanging, they may just go ahead and put our money in our QFS accounts. This is the most positive I've been about this for a long, long time. People are falling into place. You know, everybody knows who Ron DeSantis is, or do you? Because I know he used to like Three's Company, is what I'm hearing. Can you imagine seeing Michael Jackson performing again? You know, and the thing of it is, when Michael Jackson was a young kid, I used to think the world of him. Man, that kid's got talent. But then as he got older, I've never seen anybody can dance like him. But, you know, I was watching the other day a video of him with Britney Spears, and it's hard to watch Michael Jackson when at that age Britney Spears was in a miniskirt. Because as a man, my eyes was not on but man, that kid could dance. And this video was amazing. But oh boy, wouldn't it be great if Buddy was still around? Maybe they could sing about Donna, or who knows? Maybe get a little La Bamba accent up there. But we also might even be able to hear, "Oh, baby, you know what I like." What about Payne? The way he could putt with his little knickers and his beautiful outfits. Or Junior, who will be president someday. What about Senior, who may be still president today? Guys, just the thought of these people. What if Martin can fulfill his dream? Think of that. What if he can fulfill his dream? Or Kobe can show he was the second greatest basketball player ever to play the game in our era. I mean, I go back a long way, and I remember, you know, Bill Russell may not put up stats, but man, I tell you, when that man played, his teams always won. Wilt Chamberlain, there was no man one-on-one that could touch him. He was too strong. He was too big. Now his size and his strength would be normal for big men in the game. He couldn't shoot a three-pointer. He might not even make it in today's game. But I find that hard to believe, because that any man that can score 100 points in a game, and that's back when they played 12-minute quarters, not 16. Guys, we are getting ready to come into the age, I guess you could call it, of Aquarius. We are coming into things, and I just yesterday, now I want to tell you something. I went yesterday to get my oil changed. My light come on and said, change your oil soon. When my light comes on and tells me to do something, I go do it. $68 to just get my oil changed. Nothing, you know, they fill the little fluids things for the windshield, and they do some, you know, $68. That was with a 25% discount, because they said, are you a veteran? Now, I could have easily said, yes, sir, I am. And they'd give me the 25 off. I said, no, sir, I'm not. But back in the 60s, I had to stay at home as a 7th grade young boy. We had to move from the only house I ever remember living in to go and live in a farm way away from all my friends, while my two brothers, my two heroes, One of them went to Vietnam and the other one went to Germany and France for 22 or 23 months. He was gone. My other brother, Russ, was gone to Vietnam for 12 months. My best friend at the time, Johnny Dale Phillips' brother, came home in a casket. I had to sit there and watch my mom cry and comfort my mom for a year with my brother being in Vietnam and for 22 months with my other brother being in Germany and France. What?
No comfort for me. I mean,
What?
God, I was safer than hell.
Well, it doesn't matter. But anyway, he looks at me and he says, you don't need to be a veteran. You're getting a discount. I got a $19 discount. And it still cost me $68. But you know what? Our president summed out the other day and said, very soon, gas is going to be under $2 a gallon. Under $2 a gallon. You got to remember, I live in a state where we have a fat man, an ugly fat man running it. And then if I try to go to the city, they have an idiot running it there, of which I'm heard he's about ready to go down.
Well, I think both of them.
And the fat man, I think, is already down. I think there's some masked people. I think they've actually got two people tied together playing him. They're hiding one of the heads under the shirt. That man is a disgrace to men. And I'm not saying it because of his size, because, guys, I come from a big family. I'm not no skinny guy. So I'm not going to make fun of fat people. But arrogant people, I will attack all day long. And he's an idiot. Now, in order to get it under $3 a gallon, he's got to get our taxes down that we're not paying almost $1.50 for a gallon just to get it there. I went and got gas, or I wanted to get gas yesterday. I forgot to get it. Thank goodness I still had a quarter of a tank so I could make it home. But the cheapest I saw it was $2.95. That was at 2 stations. Just off of the interstate in town where it's usually 10, 15, 20 cents cheaper. In town where I have a card where I can get 10 cents off of every gallon, even with it 10 cents off. It was $3.09. I'm tired of people telling me very soon this is going to happen. It needs to happen. But as I was at this place getting my oil changed, I'm talking to the gentleman, and he's a hefty young man, about 5'10", 5'11". Told me he weighed 264 pounds. He loves to eat. And I said, soon you're going to be able to eat whatever you want. He said, what do you mean? I said, you're going to have a replicator. He says, what's that? His boss, the manager, said, you haven't heard of replicators? Where are you from? And this man starts explaining to this kid what a replicator is. He said, you never watch the Jetsons? He said, no. He said, give me your phone. Gets the phone. He goes to online. He brings up an episode of Jetsons. He says, I'll finish cashing this man out. Go watch this episode of Jetsons. And it just so happened that Rosie was using a replicator. She got up and got breakfast. Can you imagine having one of them, guys? Can you imagine having a replicator where when you want to go, all you have to do is you walk in, you tell them what you want. You may want a Burger King Whopper. And boom, it's there. You never have to wash your clothes because you just tell them what clothes you want. You never have to buy new shoes because you just tell them. And everything that you have at the end of the day, you just throw into this. I'm going to call it like a garbage disposal. But you throw it in there, it does its job. And the next thing, they say it'll even do cars. I don't know how they're going to rip a car out of a little thing like that. But what I've heard, you can tell them, well, I want such and such a car, and you tell them the address that you want it, and you look outside and the car's there. How do they do this? I don't know. I know they did it on the Jetsons for years. Isn't that right, Janet? Hey, Michael. So I'm going to see what Judy has to say real quick, and we're approaching that hour mark, and I don't want to keep you guys too long to I will say one thing real quick. If you've ever thought about buying foreign currency right now, Banknote World has Zimbabwe $50 trillion notes for $35. I just got this message. That's why I can tell you this.
You're not a financial advisor, though.
What?
You're not a financial advisor.
I'll get there. Also, I just checked and XRP is down to 270. I've seen 3 or 4 people say the reason it's dropping is they're trying to give everybody a chance, even if you want to go out and buy 10, 5, whatever. They're expecting this to take off even bigger than the others. Now, guys, I can tell you about XRP, about XLM, about foreign currency. I believe in it, but I am not a financial advisor. I told one girl that I've been writing now for a while as friendship. She's a model. She makes very good money. And I told her about XRP when it was just under $3. She went and bought 33,000 of them. She let it go down. Then it went up to 350. She sold it, took her profit, and it went down to under 280, and she bought everything back. She now has over 100,000 of them. And with it being at 270, she sent me a message and said, I think I'm going to go ahead and buy another 50,000. I mean, how much money does someone need? But you know what? She has the money to do it. And to be honest with you, putting your money in something like that is safer than leaving your savings in a bank. So, but as I said, I am not a financial advisor. I use Uphold for my account, and I go through Banknote World, or I go to the shopping place online. What is it called, Ronnie?
Well, I don't know.
You're the one that always tells me. Amazon. I go to Amazon and I buy it there. So let's see what Judy's got to say. If I can find it.
It's there.
Oh, I know, but I got to get to it. Oh, first, before I go to Judy, I got something I got to talk about. Linda sent me a message today, a little video. And in the video, it's talking about this older gentleman. He was 86 years old, and he was still working at McDonald's. He wore his little cheeseburger hat every day, and people would laugh and smile and talk to him. He was having trouble walking, but he would clean the tables. He would do what he did. And he had to work every day, 7 days a week, because he didn't have no money. He had no savings, no pension. And he had to work 7 days a week just so he could have enough money to have a place to live, food, and buy whatever medicines he hoped he could afford. And somebody noticed it one day, and they started a GoFundMe account for him. Didn't ask him why. When they did ask him, he said, hey, I have to work because this is my situation, like I just explained to you. And this gentleman starts a GoFundMe account. And to his acknowledgement, he was very happy because money started coming in from people who see him every day. But then these same people had raised about $2,000, and this man is like on the top of the world. He thinks, oh my God, there is great people left in this world. But no, it got better because people who was sending money, they started sending to their friends and explaining the situation. And before you knew it, it went viral. And it went to $20,000, where he now could have some money to put in a bank account, put real groceries in his house, buy his medicine, go to a doctor and get checked out and get his back that was literally killing him fixed. He was able to live again because somebody thought enough of him to do what they did. I read that. And I fought back tears because there's not enough people like that in the world that will take care of somebody. Myself personally, whenever I get a chance, I try to help anybody I can. Just the other day, I was in Dollar General, and this little girl, her mom had sent her to the store to get this stuff. I don't know how much it was. I was behind her with a little monkey. And the little girl went to pay, and she goes, "Oh my God." The lady says, "What's the matter?" "I forgot my wallet, my money at home." Now, the lady could have just as easily said, "Okay, take the stuff, take it home to your mom, and then just, drive back here and pay me." And the lady said, "Well, I can't let you have it." And I said, "That's hers?" And she said, "Yeah." I said, I put all my stuff up on the counter. I said, "Excuse me, young lady." She looked at me like, "You're pushing me out of the way." And I go, "No, I'm not. I'm not pushing you out of the way." I said, "Ring mine up on her bill." And the lady said, "What?" I says, "I'll take care of everything." I got the biggest, greatest hug in the world that day. But it wasn't about the hug. It was about the little girl leaving and knowing at her age, there are still people in this world that care. And if you have the opportunity to help anybody, do so. I'm not saying you got to go out and break yourself. But, a few bucks here and a few bucks there never hurts anybody. Then there's another video that Linda sent me. It's this lady sitting there being interviewed. And I'm not going to mention a state because I don't want to get in trouble. But in this interview, this man looks at this lady and says, "So what you're trying to say is you're trying to keep all transgenders out of the state of," and he mentioned the state. And she said, "No, sir, you misunderstand me 100%. We're trying to keep all transgenders out of women's bathrooms and locker rooms." I thought it was the greatest answer. Them two videos, man, they should go viral. And people should be asking, what is this old boy's name? But see, his old boy now can live happily because he knows people care. And soon he's going to hit a moneyed landfall that he doesn't know nothing about. And it's people like that, even more so than myself and Ron, that I root for. With me right now, it's not about the money. Yes, the money is going to be amazing, but I want on them beds. I want on them beds. I want to be taken care of. I want to be healthy. I mentioned the other day that Bruce talked about the beds. And in his talk about the beds, he was discussing things. And he said that he's been told by multiple sources that when you get on these beds and you go to the regression, an 80-year-old person or above can go back to 30. They don't want us going back any farther than 30 because they want people who's mature and knows how to handle the world. Not the people that's just looking for where they can do whatever they can do. And go back to your 30. Then you can choose your time frame. You can choose, you'll age 1 year for every 5 years. You can age 1 year for every 10 years, every 15 or every 20. And Bruce says, I'm going to do the 20. So in 5 years, Bruce will only feel like he's 35. In 10 years, I mean, in 5 of them terms, which is 100 years, in 10 of them years, he'll only feel like he's 40. By the time we reach the age we are now, I mean, it's almost too much to comprehend. It really is. But that's what makes it so exciting. As I was talking to Ron, I says, "Ron, we're in a situation here. We're in a situation here that look at from the time we first heard about these beds, Ron." I said, "Look at the time we first heard about it. It used to be you could get on these beds 3 times. You could go back 20 years, 30 years. Now all of a sudden we can go back 50 years because of the growth of the way they're doing things. What is it going to be 20 years from now? Because my explanation, what it's going to be 20 years from now, guys, is we're just going to live heaven on earth. That's what we're going to do. We're right now, 20 years from now, going to be in heaven alive. And I still believe we're going to be able to communicate with people we've lost. It's my feelings. You guys can tell me I'm nuts. Thank you, Tony. You can tell me I'm nuts. You can tell I'm Greg, Missouri girl. You can tell me anything you want. But them's my beliefs, and I've been doing this a long time. But one thing that's always intrigued me, well, two things, is the replicators and the special beds. So let's see what Judy has to say real quick. This was compiled Friday, the 10th of October. Month is almost 1/3 done. Man. Possible GCR timing Wednesday, 1 October 2025. President the Hat turned on the green light for the global currency reset and dismantle global elite controls and return America's stolen wealth to its people. The big N, big G, 30+1 protocols were released to erase the debt, smash the IRS, dismantle the feds, and rip the globalist control out of by the roots. The same October 1st, the government was shut down and would be permanent for many years. Saturday, 4 October, Iraq's prime minister proclaimed 7 days national holiday after the Iraq Central Bank connected. On Wednesday, October 2025 afternoon, John F. Kennedy Jr., long thought to be gone, walked into the Oval Office to meet President the Hat, the son of America's most beloved president, alive and now to face. And guys, I'm reading this. You use the discretion if you think it's real or not. I'm not saying he is. I believe he is in my heart. I'm not saying he is, but I'm not saying he's not. But I can't read something like this and they say that I'm spreading false news. I'm reading what they're reporting. Tuesday, 14th October 2025 has been declared as World Quantum Day. Big N, big G law would be officially throughout the world. Bitcoin gone. Listen, Bitcoin gone. I've heard this. This girl that I told you about the money, she told me she also owes 7 Bitcoins. I'm pleading with her to take that money and put it into XRP. I am, and I'm going to talk to her again this weekend. What's the worst that happens? It stays the same or whatever. She's got her money in XRP. She's going to have the same amount of money, only in a better. Could you imagine if you put over $700,000 into XRP? And I'm not a financial advisor. I just tell people how I feel. A lot of this is about the big N, big R, with the IRS illegally taxing people. They're talking about that. There will be no more further to save taxpayers money. 95% of the government will be reduced. Maritime law will be revoked and American return to common law. And then they talk about Bruce and a few other things. Guys, I enjoyed the show today. And I thank each and every one of us. I looked over and I think the highest I seen, we met 64 people. We're at 58 now. There you go. We will be using them before what Linda says, but Linda says the magical beds are to officially be announced 1/2026. She is correct. That's what we've heard. But we will be using them before then. When we go to the redemption centers, if you have Zim, that's what I was telling people. If you think a lot about your health, I just told you Banknote World is running a deal. $35 for 50 trillion. $35 for 50 trillion. Zim. If you can afford it, go get it. If you can't, don't spend money you can't afford. I never want anybody to do that. But if you can afford it, go get it. And then you're guaranteed to go. If if you have any chance, go to a redemption center. Even if you don't have them, go to a redemption center. You're going to get rates much higher. They're talking. And Linda, I believe it was you that posted this to something to me, that you said, and I don't remember the amount, I want to say 100 million barrels of oil Iraq has now. They're saying that we're going to get between $28 and $40 for every dinar you have. Vietnam is became a very wealthy country and will become a much wealthier country after the revaluation. They're saying it could hit between $11 and $15. That's the one I'm rooting for. I don't have a whole lot of dinar, but I got millions of the other one. Guys, then they come out just today. I think it was on our Telegram site. Someone posted that Venezuela is now soaring in wealth. They're soaring in wealth, and they're expecting that to be off the charts. Now, if you remember, if you've been with me long enough and you remember, we go back a long, long way. We go back a long, long way. And I told you about Venezuelan Bolivar. And a lot of people went out and bought it. Mike Davis, I know he did, and others went out and bought a lot. You bought the $1 million. You can go to Banknote World or go to that one other place online, for not Verizon. That's, you know what I'm talking about. Amazon. You can go and just Google it and say Venezuelan Bolivar, $1 million notes, and it'll come up and you can get them on there. Sometimes you can get them as low as 28 to 30 cents a piece, 50 cents a dollar a piece. Man, if you got $10 and you can get them for that, buy them. And I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just trying to show people, if you get any size Zim, you're guaranteed to go to the thing. If you have dinar and you go to the redemption center, you get to ask for the contract rate. The rates are going to be higher at the redemption center. I think anybody who has any kind of foreign currency at all, everybody should be allowed to go there. But that's just my opinion, and you know my opinion about opinions. Guys, this has been a good show. I thank you, each and every one of you. Maybe we'll be back before the weekend's out. I really believe something's about to break, and I know I'll get people to come back and say, you say that every week. Well, you know what? 1 week I'm not going to say it. Right, Janet? 1 week I'm not going to say that I really believe this is going to be the week. The reason I'm not going to say it is because it's already happened. We will have a celebration call. We will have a call that it's going to be a lot of fun. So make sure you got your favorite beverage. Make sure you got some snacks, and we'll just turn this old baby on and we'll just have a good time. Bruce was talking last night that when the 800 numbers come out, that he will send them out to everybody who signed up. So if you have not, I don't care if you don't like Bruce at all, go to his website, sign up by just putting your email in, and he will send you the 800 number. Also, it will be posted on his website. So there's no reason. I mean, there's other places you can go to sign up. If you bought foreign currency from Banknote World or 100trillion.com, any place like that, they're going to have you. So you're going to be covered. Plus, when I get my 800 number, I'm going to do a special call just to announce it. With that, I'm going to tell you, have a great weekend. We love yous, and we will talk to you as soon as we talk to you. We love yous all. Patriot 5 and Patriot 6 saying goodbye.